Do you remember 19XXX? When someone said to you, you have a lot of potential, you have the ability, you can do, you are able to do, if you did X, Y, Z. Someone was always putting conditions on how you should progress or how you should develop. They were never yours, and you never had a say. But it wasn't really about how well you could become or you could do. It was, had you found a way that could educate you, that you would understand, and that you could enjoy. But someone always said to you, you're not good enough. You haven't done enough. You need to be better. You need to be better on these terms, on these conditions. Some 30 years later, you're still hearing the same story. Someone is saying to you, standing over you, you're not going to get a pay rise because you haven't done X, Y, Z. What has changed? Nothing has changed. That's why my name is Alex Gordon, and I'm here today to ask you, what is your dream? What is your dream? It's a question that I have to ask, because unless you can answer that question, the next 30 years of your life will not change. It will not be any different to what's happening or to what happened 30 years ago in 19XXX. So what is your dream? If you listen to Martin Luther King, and everyone knows Martin Luther King, everyone knows the I have a dream speech. Everyone's excited by that speech. But Martin Luther King is dead. He's no longer with us. He has disappeared. He's gone. And because he's dead, we can no longer get speeches like that. But you're here. I'm here. And it's time for you to step up and do what you've got to do. So I ask the question again. What is your dream? And I know you're looking at me right now. You may be drinking a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, or you may be watching television. Regardless of what you're doing, I would like you to take this opportunity and tell me what your dream is. I'd like you to take this opportunity and tell me what your dream is. Why? Because unless you define that, unless you home in on it, unless you master what you want, someone's going to dictate what you should have. Someone's going to give it to you. And you may not like what they want to give you. So here it is. In the next 30 minutes, you are going to receive 6 keys. 6 keys that's going to unlock what you should be doing in your life. They're going to unlock the keys that opens your mind, that makes you become open to where you should be going and how you should be doing. So here it is. What is your greatest desire? What is your greatest desire? What is the number one greatest desire that you have? And it's all in what do you want? We know what we don't want. I remember asking my son what he wants. And I remember at Christmas, he was able to reel off to me a list. Xbox, PS2, PS4, XYZ. He knew it. He knew the list off the back of his head. And every so often, he would give me his telephone. And on his mobile phone, he had a picture of his trainers, the brand new trainers. He had a picture of the £200 trainers he was looking for. He knew exactly what he wants. But we as adults, we know what we don't want. We have spent so much time accepting everything that's been given to us that we find it very difficult to make a decision about what we want. And it's so easy. It's not difficult. You just have to work out what you're looking for now, for the time that you have left upon this earth. What is your greatest desire? It can't just be about the car. You've driven the car. It can't just be about the house. You've driven the house. There's got to be more to it. So what is it? Let me pause for a second and ask you to look back in your journals, look back in your scrapbooks, the pictures that you drew, the pictures that you drew from such an early age. And when you drew those pictures, no one was looking at you. No one was standing over you asking you to journal. You just made diagrams and pictures. I remember my daughter doing that. I remember my daughter's bedroom, her walls plastered with pictures of what she was going to do, where she was going to go, what she was going to sing. She had it mapped out in her mind. Now, the question is, what is your greatest desire? Number 2, there are obstacles in your way, but the reality is those obstacles aren't meant to prevent you. You thought they're meant to prevent you, and you have been operating in such a way that every obstacle that you come against, it has stopped you moving. Your obstacles are not there to prevent you. Scripture says that you should speak to your mountain. Now, I'm saying about a mountain, let's find a way around the mountain. You don't have to climb over the mountain. It may be too tall for you. You may not have the necessary resource to climb over the mountain. Let's find a way around it. Yes, let's find a way around that mountain. But obstacles are meant to test you. Obstacles are meant to test your authenticity. They're meant to test what you've got. They're meant to test what you have inside of you. And if it tests you and you can overcome those tests, then you can deliver to the world. Look at the athletes. I'm sure when Usain Bolt, the first time, ran the 100 meters and won the race, he doubted that he could do it. I'm sure when he did that for the very first time in his life, he wasn't sure that he was ever able to do that. But with practice, hard work, and training, and a good mentor, he was able to run the 100 meters. And therefore, by 2012, we looked at him as the world's fastest man, the fastest man upon the earth. And do you notice when he's running, what happens? Around the 75-meter mark, between 60 meters to 70 meters, he suddenly starts to pull away from all his other athletes, and he's gliding. It almost seems as though he's gliding in the air. And when everyone starts to fade, he starts to glide to the finishing post. He's moving. He's gliding. When are you going to glide? When are you going to move? You have something about you that you haven't quite tapped into yet. And because you haven't tapped into it, you don't know you have it. But it's only when you test it, like Usain Bolt, put it to the test and see what you've got. So don't stand back and think, I'm going to die because the obstacles are too great. Stand where you are and stand your ground. I remember some 20 years ago, a man who owned the high street. He had the major shares in all the jewelry shop in the high street. And you know what he did? He went on television and talked about his products and his company in such a negative way that within 24 hours, the share price dropped. Within 24 hours, the share price, a price that was probably in double figures, was reduced to like $1. He had no company. He hired a young exec to come and sort the problem out. And within 24 hours, he was fired from his own company. The company that he spent 20 years developing. He got fired from his own company. Now, was that the end for this gentleman? It could have been the end, because he went home, and for the next 7 years, he was at home, getting on his wife's nerves. He said that his wife said to him, you know, for all those years that you weren't at home, now you're at home and you won't get out of my hair. And she told him to get out of the house, go and find something to do. And you know what he did? At the time in his life when he felt everything was probably finished, he took a bicycle ride. That bicycle ride opened up a window. He looked into the land, just like how I'm looking now around the Docklands. Look at this. This is a vision. Someone had a vision for this. Someone had a vision to build this the way it is. The only problem, it wasn't you. But that gentleman rode on his bicycle, and he rode 7 miles every day. No, 22 miles every day. And in those 22 miles, he saw a plot of land. I can see it now, a plot of land, empty, nothing on it. And as he looked into that land, he felt there was something there he could put there. He could put there. And you know what he did? He went to the estate agent and asked them, is that land for sale? And they said, yes, the land is for sale if you've got the money. He never had a penny. He went to the bank. The bank said to him, we're not going to give you any more money. You already owe us over $1 billion. Now, you and I, owing the banks $1 billion, we wouldn't be bold enough to go and ask the bank for any more money. But he still did. But you know what he did? He put an advert in the local paper advertising this brand new health club that was going to open. The health club had not opened yet. The health club was in his mind. He put an advert in the paper. I think it was about 300-400 applications were made. Deposits were made. People filled out a form and paid the first month's subscription for a health club that wasn't yet built. Wasn't that amazing? Just one advert and the mass audience responded. So he went back to his bank manager and took the forms with the checks and put them on the desk of the bank manager and said, will you give me the money now to build the health club? The bank manager said to him, the only reason why I'm going to lend you this money is because my wife has subscribed to your non-existent health club. Isn't that amazing? What I'm saying to you, the obstacles that you face are meant to test you. They're meant for you to dig deeper and find a way round the problem. Find a way round your mountain. It's not meant to kill you. The third point is that you have an energy inside of you. You give off this energy, the vibe. We call it the vibe. That energy affects people, touches other people. That energy is not poisonous, but it's like has an attraction to it. People warm to you because of the excitement coming out of you, your energy. Now, what I need you to do, I need you to find your passion. Your passion. Now, you ask me, what's my passion? I don't know what your passion is. My passion is speaking. My passion is trying to help other people. I don't know what your passion is. But find your passion. And if you find your passion, you'll find the excitement and the energy that needs to come out of you, that needs to touch your community and touch your family or your friends. Find your passion. Look in your journals, the things you did 10, 15 years ago, the things that you love doing. Have a look, just for a change, and let's find your passion. What are you passionate about? What are you passionate about? Tell me. I'm listening. I can't hear you. Come on. All right. Okay. We're talking through the camera. All right, I know that. But what are you passionate about? What are you passionate about? Find your passion, you'll find your energy. When you find your energy, you realize in my fourth point that your attitude changes. Your attitude changes. Why? When your attitude changes, people warm to you. What is it? It says that your attitude determines your altitude. You can only rise as far as your attitude can take you, because your attitude determines what you do, when you do it, how you do it, and who you do it with. So if you want to become a millionaire, then you've got to mix with millionaires. If you want to become broke, hey, just stay where you are. Mix with broke people. Wherever you want to go and mix with the people who are already doing it. They already make it happen. Go and mix with those people. Change your attitude and you can change your life. One of the things I've always said and I've always felt is that the greatest asset a company has is its people. It's not the assets of the building and the equipment and the office that it has. The greatest asset a company has is its people. But you wouldn't believe that, would you? The way companies treat their staff, you wouldn't believe that the greatest asset they have is the people. The people who make things happen. But the greatest asset you have in your life is you. You need to look after it. Why am I saying this? I just look back on the years. I look back to the last recession that we had, probably 20 years ago, and one of the recessions that we had, and Microsoft was born. Bill Gates put Microsoft on the map. This is over like 30 years ago. In the midst of a recession, we come now and we see Facebook. Out of the blue, Facebook has become one of the biggest advertising agencies that you and I are subscribing to every day of our lives. Why? Because one man had a dream, one man had an idea, one man in his dorm, instead of watching television, instead of listening to the music, he was trying to develop a program that would connect everyone. Now, was it brand new? No, it wasn't. It wasn't a brand new product. It was never brand new. It was something that was there already. But he took an idea and he refined it. Regardless of what his friends said, his parents, he used his time to refine this product and make it a global player today. That's attitude. That's an attitude of hardworking, persevering, success-looking individual trying to make something happen. My fifth point is your message. In the midst of everything that's happening to you, you have a message that the world needs to hear. The message may be simple to you. You may think the message is nothing. You may think it's too simple to go out there with it. But I can tell you right now that your message will help change the world. I met a young lady this week and she really made me think. She had written a book called Inmate 114, I think it was 890, but it was as inmate to inspiration. And when she came out of prison, no one would employ her. Not one company would give her an opportunity to create a life for herself. The past was holding her back. Everything that she had done incorrectly was now becoming a bombshell in her life. That's an obstacle. What did she do? What did this young lady do? Well, she found a way and she dug deep and she realized that what she had inside of her was far greater than the problems that she was facing all around the world, all around her local community. The problems she was facing were far less. You know why? Because she had something inside of her. She realized that she could take her sentence that was passed over her life and use it to change her life. Now she's written a book and she's running what I call prison prevention programs for young people, telling them what they shouldn't do and then helping them to write their books and showing them how to monetize their books. And she's helping a generation. Who could you help with your message? You see, when you create the message, the money will come because it's about the flow. The money flows. Yeah, cash flow. Cash flow. It flows, but it has to flow to something. Something has to attract that money, and that is your message. So stop working for the money and find your message, and that will find your money. That will create the money you're looking for. Your message. My sixth point, and this one may cause you to think again about your life. But imagine this. It's the last day on earth. Imagine this. It's your last day and you're about to go. You're about to leave this earth. And you're lying on a bed and all the dreams and passions and gifts that you have are standing around you and they're asking you, what have you done with it? What have you done with it? I could have been this. I could have been so successful, but you never gave me the opportunity. You held me back. That's your ability. That's your passion. That's your gifting. That's everything that you have that you could have used for your own success. Is now saying to you, you've held me back. Imagine that. I think it was Miles Monroe who said that the graveyard are full of dreams. The graveyard's full of inventions, but they're dead. They'll never live again. You have an opportunity to live. And this is why I'm asking you today to define what success means to you. A few years ago, I would have said success would just mean me having a great car or a great house. That's what my idea of what success was like. Until I met a gentleman in his 80s who came to this country, and I was at a seminar. And this gentleman in this seminar talked about the legacy that he had left, that he had built, that he had spent his entire life building. And that legacy was now going to feed one generation, 2 generations, 3 generations of his people. One man. Isn't that amazing? The legacy, that was his greatest success. It wasn't the cash he was getting every week or every month. It was a legacy that he's left. So, what is your definition of success? It may mean the things you want to achieve, yeah. But what is it? It's got to be bigger. It's got to be bigger than where you are right now. What is your definition of success? My definition of success now, and which I'm strongly working hard towards, is a legacy. What am I going to leave that people, my family, and people will remember me by? What are you going to leave? What are you going to do? I started this presentation by saying to you, in 19XX, someone said, you have the potential, you're able, and you can, but you need, and you will, only when someone was controlling your achievements, your success. They didn't take the time to find out how well you could perform under different conditions. So we talked about your desires. We talked about the roadblocks that you faced. We talked about your enthusiasm, finding your passion. We talked about changing your attitude, finding your purpose and your passion for what you're going to do. We talked about your message. Your message that will allow the cash to flow. It's not about the money. So far, you've allowed money to dictate everything you do, and it hasn't done you any good. So your message, find your message, and your money will flow. It's called cash flow. Remember that? Cash flow. Remember that. Your money will flow. And finally, we said success must mean something to you. Find your own definition of success. So, what am I asking you to do? I'm asking you to work out where you're going today. What are you going to do with the time you have left? What are you going to do? It's crucial. It's important. I want you to go to www.whatisyourdreamnow.com and enter your name and address, and I will give you a free copy of my book. Yes, I've written a book called What Is Your Dream? And I'll give you a free copy of that book, because I want you to sit down and work out where you're going and start moving in that direction. All the great guys we admire, they've gone. Now, you've got to walk into your greatness. I'll see you at whatisyourdreamnow.com.